The Truth of Girls.
Hi everyone,
Cheers.
this is my husband Aaron, and I asked him to come and sit here with me while I make this video because I've been upset like all week about what's going on in the US, and I was pretty shocked at the reactions of people when I brought up racial profiling. What's the point here is what's bothering me is that people are just so afraid of each other. I mean, you could just be a regular person in your car and you will get profiled. That's reality. But I wasn't saying this to like get more animosity and hostility flowing like it did in the comments. I mean, people like threw so much, hate at me. It was everything from like just that I'm creating race war to like my hair is terrible. Here's one of the best ones. That if I say it's not right to racially profile black people, I must be a self-hating white person. Actually, no, I'm a Christian. And so I just see us that, the way that what God says to us is to love God and to love one another. So I really live by that. I really believe that. So all those like 28 ways that you can be racist, like basically anything you do or say, you're a racist. I'm a racist, you're a racist, he's a racist, everybody. Because whatever you do, whatever approach you take, it just means you're racist. Okay? And that's the world. Okay? But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about spiritually. That we're created to be children of God. We're not born with a set of like things that we hate and beliefs about ourselves and our culture versus other people. We're just born as human beings, and children won't be like, oh, I won't play with that kid because of the color of their skin or their hair. And this is all stuff that we're taught. We're just taught to fear each other and hate each other. And all I want is for people to love one another. I just have compassion. I want people to come together and to get over all these beliefs that they have about what makes us different and just come together.
Yeah.
And, love one another the way that God intended for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, this latest stuff with Dallas and the two shootings before that's driving people apart again.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the government's not up to some evil, masterful plan to screw things up. Maybe probably they are. BLM is funded by George Soros, whatever. Like I said, all these movements, I don't trust any of them.
Yeah, they're all
like that.
Like BLM being controlled opposition like that. That's not a racist statement, because Occupy Wall Street, that was co-opted too, right from the get-go. So
yeah, it was.
We saw that George Soros was funding that too.
Yeah, and here's something we can learn. Where did it lead? All that marching in the streets, where did it lead? It did nothing in the end. It didn't change anything, actually. The illusion of change. I don't think that any hostility is ever going to bring any kind of good change. I did see this one video where there was a BLM protest and there were some protesters, and at a certain point they just came together in the middle and they just put their stuff aside and they just embraced, and then they prayed together. And that gave me some hope. That's a good example to follow. And so all that hate that I see in the comments, to me that's just part of it. Because you're still just hating. Like, if you think it's okay to go and say horrible, mean things to people and accuse them of stuff, like each other, me included, whoever, that you think it's okay to be so hateful. Well, if you have that kind of hate in your heart, no wonder that hate is reflected in society, and there's so much discord, because look at what's in people's hearts. You can see it in the comments section, even under a video. I just hate to see people suffer. And I hate to see people hating and afraid of each other, and it's affected me so profoundly. Like all week I've been in tears over what I'm seeing. Seriously. I mean, I'm coming into this from a Christian perspective. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about like being a disciple of Jesus, and I'm called to love everyone else, and I ask God to give me compassion, like by the power of the Holy Spirit, to change my heart to have compassion for other people. And that kind of compassion that you get from God, that takes barriers down. that builds bridges and restores and brings people together. And I think it's something that you're not going to find in the world. You're going to find it in Jesus. I know you're not all Christian, but that's what I really believe. So it kind of bothers me that I see people focusing on who's funding what movement and what does the government want to do and what are people's motives. Like, you already know, like, all this is not the work of good, which is just splitting us up more. Again, we're aware of it, but do we have to focus on it? Instead of that, we should focus on how we individually in our lives can change things by praying to have compassion and by showing compassion to other people. And by asking God to take away our fear. Because that fear is just driving this problem on both sides. This is a spiritual problem. And the only way we're going to have a solution is a spiritual solution. So thanks for listening to us. I'll see you next time.